Hey guys, welcome back to the show, Riding the Pine, and we're here on day one of the country champs for the under 16 and under 18s. And I thought, what better to have on the show with us is head coach Al Connors, mate. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thanks, bud.
Hey, obviously, so you guys are looking after the under 18s and sort of scouting them out for your AYC kind of selection. So before we get to that, mate, just give me a bit of a sort of a rundown of yourself and your background, so the kind of audience gets to know you.
Sure. I've been involved in national baseball and state baseball for close on 30-something years now. So previously, it was majority with Queensland. So I coached around about 19 years with state teams here at Queensland, including Clarkson Shield. We've got, so I think we had 4 national championships, including under 18s. And then also worked for Baseball Australia as well. So
it's quite the history on the resume there.
It's not bad.
No, that's awesome. So obviously now you're down here being the under 18 selector for AYC. So that's in Melbourne coming up. So what's the timeline from this tournament to, like, run me through?
Sure.
Yep.
I think one of the biggest things that country teams and regionally remote teams have problems with is trying to get everyone together to train. It's the tyranny of distance is one of our biggest problems. So what we're intending to do this year is basically we want our players to try to play as the highest level they can locally. Yep. So we're going to be in constant contact with their club coaches, trying to make sure that we can try to push them up as high as we can.
Yep.
And then we're going to get together for 4 camps. So we're basically trying to make sure that we're not making it too expensive for mums and dads in travel, because once again, it's not only travel, it's accommodation when they do that as well. So we're looking at doing that, and then we're also looking at going into Melbourne 3 days prior, so trying to do a mini camp before the AY season.
That's perfect, because obviously, when you want to, take a team to a certain tournament facility, you want to get used to the conditions, right? Like even here today, it's a bit windy, so it's obviously like, hey, it's a giant flat plane, so let's take some fly balls, ground balls, get used to the conditions, and it's just a good acclimation of a bit of pre-team bonding as well.
Exactly right. I think that's one of the biggest things is particularly in tournament baseball, it's about trying to get that group to have a shared goal and to come together with that shared goal. So, what does it mean? What does it mean for a country New South Wales under 18 player? What does that mean when we come up against Victoria or Queensland? Yeah. What do they remember when they played us? Absolutely. That's the big key with this. So we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to have those players bond and also get that culture of what country is about.
So I guess like one of my next points here, and it's a big one, is like, so the under 16 and the under 18, like what's the biggest missing piece of that age group? Like, is it a communication? Is it not as many games played to get the reps together? Like where do you kind of find yourself with the under 18 side of things?
I think what we find is once again, regionally we're finding of late, the last 2 to 3 years especially, juniors have started to have a bit more of a focus on the grassroots level.
Yep.
And we can see it now. We can start to see that quality of player coming up through, right? So I think the biggest next step for us is, once again, making sure that we've got those junior players stepping up into senior roles, and they're assisted along the way a little bit. Once again, trying to get them to learn and understand and compete at that next level as many times as they can.
Yep.
And then we can start to see some growth into the senior levels as we go.
Because there has to be a bit of a confidence growth too, to feel that like the player has to feel like they fit, that there's a pathway for them, and like, they're supported, right? Because sometimes, baseball's a failure game, and it can be easy to regress, drift away. But, the program you guys are running, it uplifts them, it brings them together, and that's what we kind of want to see from especially a regional aspect where distance is a big thing. So it's really good that you guys are going to do training camps, come together pre-tournament, and obviously, hopefully, lead the tournament off the right way, and hopefully results will follow from that.
Yeah.
So that's all right. So obviously we spoke about sort of the junior to men transition. Is it where do you feel that it kind of falls down with that conversion from a 16s to 18s to state league, grade level, that kind of...
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to Lockie Rosso before as I caught up with him,
Oh, yep.
and once again, it's trying to get this attitude of country baseball. If you look at senior men's country baseball is known, and then once again, we're talking provincial team and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
They're known as they're a good hitting team, right?
Yeah.
They're really good at defense, and the pitchers are so good at keeping the hitters off guard, right? They're very, very good at doing it, and that's what senior country baseball has been about. Junior country baseball has been known as they're a good hitting team. They hit the ball okay. The defense can be a little clunky sometimes, and usually they've got one fairly set of good arms, and that's about it. I think that's the idea, is understanding what our strengths are. Our strengths are, yes, we do hit the ball well. We want to be able to have pitchers who they may not be throwing 88, 92, but once again, they've got an ability to throw and target and spot fastball and then to a slider and then to a change.
Yep.
So they're not frightened of trying to throw those in different counts. I think then we start to see a little bit better, because our defense then starts to get better, rather than people getting teed off and everything like that. So that's where I want to see it, is a bit more of an acclamation of both of those senior and junior into the same sort of culture. I think that's going to be the secret for country baseball moving forwards.
Well, hopefully we see that in motion coming up through these AYC sort of shit. Yeah,
hopefully.
Beautiful. Well, talking about that, so now that we have it was announced very recently that we now have a high performance program in the Illawarra region. So will that kind of work in with you guys for AYC?
Yeah, 100%. So what we need to be able to do is we need to be able to know what local people we've got on the ground. So we can give them training programs for the individual kids, and we know that they're going to get that once again, they're going to come down every week and they're going to get all that information. And once again, we've got a good communication point where we can talk to that coach and say, hey, how are the sessions been? Where are they mentally in this program right now? So the more we have of these sorts of academies, that's the benefit of it, and hopefully we can see this start to sprout around New South Wales country now, because I think that's another stepping stone for us to go through.
Definitely, and obviously, country is generally a tournament-based structure, so we don't have like a regular season to get as many reps in and games in. So we kind of try to affiliate the reps with our local areas. But obviously, is there potential that the people who are doing the programs, they could travel maybe between the hubs and hub versus hub to sort of a few games here, a few games there? I feel like we could kind of make something in that space.
100%, mate. We've spoken about this at country level for a couple of years now, and number one, I think what we need to do a little bit more of is travel ball, is a bit of hopping on a bus and travel for a weekend and playing a series of games. But not only that, those types of academies, if we can get those academies to come together, even if it's in Sydney for a weekend, where we put them all together and we can get some Australian coaches in, we can get a whole bunch of different stuff. We get Blue Sox players in. I think it's number one, value for money. And number two, it gives them some credence of what they've been doing for that period of time. And there's, their academy means something to them. So.
It does. It definitely does. And so to touch a little bit in that, because obviously I'm going to track down the high performance sort of person who runs it down here locally in another interview. But like, how does fitness and nutrition from a coaching aspect or selector or even just a mentor, like to this group that, have that high metabolism, they don't know what it's like getting old yet, right? But we kind of want to put them on that right pathway at least.
Yeah, I think we've already discussed it. Like, I think we've already seen 2 games today, and we've discussed there are some big body athletes out here who move okay, but they could move better.
They could.
And it's about having that commitment to not only just the AYC cause, but to their own cause of what pathway they want to be able to take. And that's the beauty of having someone like a Lockie Rosso here who, can tell them, what it takes and what sort of hardships you need to be able to go through and what do you need to endure, all of those sorts of things, because that's what baseball's going to be about. It's about learning from your mistakes and getting better and getting stronger.
And I definitely want to see that input from ex-players or older players, to call them per se, because it's valuable knowledge that should be passed down to our kids growing up. And I sense a disconnection between like our seniors and juniors, whether it's because of different seasons they play or just not buying into the same traditions, cultures, rituals, whatever you want to call it. And I just love to see that come together because I feel like kids can really learn a lot of stuff from the older guys
Yep.
who they know and trust. It's not some random information off the internet, right? It's our friend. No, it's definitely something that feels missing between the juniors and senior circuit.
Yeah, and once again, that's where we hope to be able to get, predominantly this under 18 cohort to be a lot more involved at the club level with those sorts of guys. You go to any club and you'll see guys who have got, some pretty good experience over the years and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, big time.
And if we can get them sitting beside them and giving them some assistance, it's always good.
Perfect. So, position-wise, what's your favourite position on the field?
Me personally, outfield. Okay. Started as an outfielder when I was younger. Certainly can't do it anymore, but
don't limit yourself.
The knees are that bad.
Well, hold on. Before you answer the next question, is there a difference on coaching? Is it easier to coach a position that you've played previously, or you kind of want to challenge yourself to kind of coach in a manner that to develop yourself at the same time?
Really, really good question, Tex. Look, I think that's the key is most people will start their coaching career and they'll stick to something that they already know. Once again, it's as a player, you've always got to challenge yourself and get better. And as a coach, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah. So traditionally, if you surveyed most coaches, and you probably do it here, I'm going to suggest probably 90% of them will come back and go, well, I don't really understand pitching that well.
Yeah.
So, that's the first thing I'd suggest for people to do is to start working with a decent pitching coach and working out, what happens and how they work that. And then they get better. So we always say this at a high level point of view, you can't be a manager unless you've ever been a pitching coach.
Exactly.
You've got to be able to understand that. So I think because
that ties into a bit of the bonding and chemistry between a coach and a player as well. Because like sometimes a player might feel like, well, you were never a pitching coach or a pitcher in general. It's like, but how can you want to be on the same page without kind of be like, hey, I'm your coach, do this. But it's like, if I know that you've been an outfielder previously, it's like, well, you may know what you're talking about reads on a ball, position on a foot. It's like, I'm going to be more open to maybe trusting your judgments on things.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think from working at the highest levels, it's sort of most of that stuff goes away, and what it is about can you throw this guy 50 decent BP throws in cages? Can I hit an outfielder 75 ground balls and 75 fly balls in different positions and give him the workout that they individually need? And if I can do that as a coach and walk away, I'm done the best thing I can for that player, and that player's had quality repetitions at everything he's done. And then that's when you start getting to be a really good coach.
Yeah.
When you do that sort of stuff.
Big time.
Because the higher level you go, it's not about necessarily what you know. It's about what you can give that player.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because kids don't know. I mean, I won't limit it to kids because we have adults who don't know what to ask for, don't know what's out there to ask. Be like, could you teach me this? Right? You just have to be having willingness to ask a question. You may not know, but you may know someone that does know, right? So the communication has to just talk to someone, ask. The worst thing that anyone can ever say is no, right? But don't feel rejected in the baseball space because there's always going to be someone that will be able to be reached, connected to, here's a phone number, a contact, an email, and for me, baseball needs to stay that way as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think once again, there's never one right answer.
No.
Okay. You can talk to 15 different pitchers, and I guarantee you, 15 different pitchers have all got a different type of thing.
Yeah.
Right. So that's more about trying to get as much information as you can and allowing the athlete to try it and decide what works for them.
Big time. Well, we're going to have a bit more of a funner section, but it could be a surprise for me. What is your favorite MLB team?
I'm going to say Oakland A's. I got the opportunity to go across and work for them in instructional league.
Yep.
And so I fell in love with the organisation. It's a very good. They've got very good development and very good theories and that sort of stuff.
That's awesome. And is there a particular player that you fell in love with?
I'm going to say Kurt Suzuki. So once again, I met Kurt with the A's. So he came across. He was a first round baby bonus kid.
Yep.
And obviously Kurt is now the manager of the
Angels, right? Yeah. It's
it's really good. And once again, I've seen him come in as a player, go through his career, and now end up coming as a manager. It's a really full circle moment. So
beautiful. Well, I wanted to bring one more fun section to the show. So I'm going to put this iPad away for now, but we're going to bring out the inner kid in us.
Oh,
we're going to rip a pack of cards together.
Lovely.
Now, obviously, for me, a fan of baseball in general, but cards collecting, it's just part of baseball.
Yeah.
So let's dig in and see how lucky we get here. So that's your pack.
Oh.
There's my pack. We'll put this away. All right, let's see how lucky we get here.
All right.
You go first. You show the audience what you got.
So Matt Gorski.
There we go.
Matthew Boyd from the Cubs.
Nice.
Mick Abel.
Okay. Ooh, fancy card.
Fortune 5, Kyle Tucker.
There you go. That's a contract to have.
There it is, a contract to have. Ryan Gusto from the Astros.
Nice, very nice.
And
that's a
Cam
nice card.
Smith.
Is that a rookie card? Looks like
Astros.
might have a rookie card there.
It is.
All right, let's turn over my pile. Well, I'm going to start with a Yankee, a Dovell. Very guy. Throws 100. I mean, who doesn't throw 100 these days? Honestly.
Exactly, it's just run of the mill.
We have an Edgar card from the White Sox. We have Lauder from the Cincinnati Reds. Oh, there's a good one. A Bobby Witt Jr. Now there's a generational talent. Kansas are set for quite a while. We have we have Seattle's closer, Munoz. Now he's a good pitcher too. That's bullpen's a key. That's a thing. And we'll finish with Robert from the Nationals. So no big hits, but hey, this is what collecting is about, right? And I live for this. It's when you see people breaking cards, baseball is just fun in just so many different facets.
Very
right?
true, man.
So, well, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this little segment. But a shout out to our sponsors at Alpha Exteriors and JPM Hardwood. And we look forward to seeing you around for the rest of the tournament, Al.
Thanks, man.
But until next time, guys, we'll talk to you then. See ya.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.